Morning and thanks for joining. This is Matt Brown and I'm doing a video here on what's new in the Vassal module 1.1 for Sound of Drums, Battles of Napoleon, Eylau 1807. When we get new versions of the Vassal module, I'm going to try and keep doing these so you see what's new. We've added a few little features and we've cleaned up some features, and there's a couple things in the background that we cleaned up. We changed some logging. We found some units that when you chose their highlighting, that they were highlighted in the wrong division. We tried to fix all that. And we added a few features that make it better for the version 1.5 of the rules. So let me take a look at the screen. And here we are at Schloditten, the primary destination on the Ostpreußische Riviera. And we're going to have a battle right here between some Russians and some French. Now, it's contrived, but it's just meant to show things off. So before I get into the actual battle, just a quick look at what's new on the screen. There is now a grave marker here because there's a graveyard. So when I open it up, it shows where the units are that are dead. Nothing there yet. And then there's another icon here to clear assault markers. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So let's go ahead and start moving. I work from a log file when I do videos, so I'm going to run the log and then tell you what's happened. So the Russian unit here has moved in its frontal arc. Now, this is a little bit confusing, and I wanted to set this up this way to point this out. This, and this. Those four hexes are the front of a column. So a column can appear to move directly sideways, but that's still its frontal facing. And it's a little confusing. And I found that as I was playing, a lot of people didn't know that you could do that. And so it becomes a little bit of a surprise when you see it for the first time, especially if somebody's crashing into you with a bunch of cavalry. But it's a good thing to know. So I'm going to keep moving, and my Russians get to the spot where they want to be. Next, I'm going to move the next Russian stack. But hey, presto, what happened? I just pulled out the two units, not the leader, because the leaders in version 1.5 move after all of the units in the division move. So we're going to let him sit for a minute. We're going to move again, and we're going to crash right into these Frenchies from what appears to be the flank, but in fact is the front of the unit. Going to move the other two, and then I'm going to move the commander. There he is. So we're all in place, and I'm going to clear the moved markers. I'm going to bring one back in a minute, and I'll show you why. It's kind of interesting. But the first thing that's going to happen is the French are going to get defensive fire. So the French defensive fire, and they do 1 point of damage on this grenadier battalion over here. So done. It's happened. Not interesting. We'll come back to other things later. So I'm going to move again and move this guy out. This is not a separate move. This is just me to get the moved marker. I could have hit the Control M key, but I didn't want to do that. So now I just have it showed up there, and I'm going to now declare assaults. So you see now there are arrows. So since there are 4 frontal hexes for a unit, there are 4 sets of arrows, and they cycle through. So to get to them, I'm going to right-click on them, and I'm going to choose Declare Assault, and you'll see that it's moved first from the leftmost hex in front to the rightmost hex in front. And if I do it again, it's going to move to the right. So now we have one actually showing that it's assaulting directly to its right, and now the other one, I'm just going to hit the A, and there we go. So that's Control A, and now I've got my markers set up. Well, why is this important? Because when you have a larger division, you have to declare all your assaults before you do the next phase. So I want to make sure that there's a way for people to see which units are in the assault and where they're pointing. So I'm going to go on to the next ones. Oh, see, that did it automatically, part of the log. So this guy moves them over. Now this next unit is going to get its assault markers here on the hex between it and what it's going to assault. So it just makes it clear that it's assaulting this guy and not the other. And then the other guy. Now I'm going to have to cycle through them because it comes in the first position, goes to the second, which is the right assault. Okay. When I click, then I'm going to do the actual attack. So I rolled a 4. I'm attacking here from this guy to here. I rolled a 4, and that means he has to take a loss on both units and retreat. So just haul him out so that you can see him. And then we're going to send him to the graveyard. Now when you click on the graveyard, you actually have a unit there, and it shows you the unit as it was when it died. Then we're going to take the loss on the other battalion, and now the units next to that battalion have to take a stand check. So we've added a new flag here called stand, and that just helps you remember when you may have 4 or 5 units that are adjacent to something that retreats, because you're going to come back and do that in a minute. So I'm going to mark the other ones with a stand check because they'll need to take one. And then I'm going to retreat, and there I am. So I've started to get rid of the assault markers, and the way that they work is they cycle around. I mentioned this. It goes left, right, right side, left side, and then nothing. So we're just cycling through, and now they're back to nothing. Now they're back to nothing, because I did that by the individual units. So the next one that's going to happen is he's going to take that hex, and that's great. And then I'm going to roll again, and this guy is going to take his stand check, and he fails. This guy here is what's taking the stand check. So I can now click on him, the stand check goes away, and I can retreat him. And he's going to go back to there. Next, the infantry here that still hasn't, we're going to get rid of the assault marker on this guy, by the way, because there's nothing left to assault. So he cycles around, and there they go. Now we're going to make the next attack, and we roll a 12, which means that this guy actually, excuse me, the other stand check. This is the stand check. So the stand check he passes. So we get rid of the stand check marker. Now he didn't pass the stand check. I think the rolls are wrong there, but just bear with me. So now he took the attack. That's what it was. He took the attack. He lost, and he's going to have to retreat. So we get rid of the attack markers on the attackers, and now he retreats. Okay, and the Russian occupies the hex. And that is the end of the demo. So bottom line is there's not much you can see except for the graveyard, the stand flag, and the assault/charge markers. And they're all there just to help keep track of things during the game. Otherwise, the module's more or less the same with a bunch of little cleanup items in the background. So hopefully this helps you play the game and understand how things were supposed to be used. And thank you for spending your time with me this morning.